What's up guys, Silas back again today. I'm actually on vacation, but I was editing a vlog to upload tonight, and my video files are all corrupted that I recorded the day that I recorded the rest of this. So I can't use them, so I have to record another one real quick. But there's some interesting stuff in this one. Probably the most interesting thing is I crushed a snowplow blade. And that's something you've probably never seen before. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know what was going to happen, but stay tuned for that. And there's a bunch of other interesting stuff as well, so I hope you guys enjoy it. First up on the list, I need to get this stuff moved. So I'm going to go ahead and get the torch out, cut the seat off, cut this 9-inch out. I haven't decided if I'm for sure going to cut it out or not yet. I just now noticed that the axle's gone on this side. It does still have the pumpkin in it though. Easy peasy, popped right off. Takes 2 seconds. If I would have had to unbolt that, it would have taken forever. And with that we're done. When I pick that bed up now, the rear end will stay right where it's at. I'll show you all how to run a torch real quick. I run propane in mine, propane and oxygen. I don't run acetylene. Acetylene is a lot more expensive. It does cut faster and hotter, but it's just a lot more expensive and it doesn't last as long. So anyway, what you do, this is the propane here. You turn it on just a little bit like that. And then this is the oxygen here. This regulates the oxygen levels just a tiny bit like that. Then you take your striker, which is one of these, and you go like that. Now what you're wanting to do is that flame, you want to adjust it to where it's a nice vivid blue flame like that. If you go too far, it starts to fade a little bit. So you want to turn it back a little bit to where it's just like that. We got a nice vivid blue flame that's not too long coming out of it, and that'll cut steel nice and fast there. Now if you're cutting too hot, if you're cutting thin metal and you don't want it to warp, you turn your propane down and you turn your oxygen down accordingly, and so it'll be like that. Still that nice same color of vivid blue flame. You have to adjust it a little bit back and forth until you get it exactly where it needs to be. It's one of those things you just learn over time. I can look at it and know exactly where it needs to be depending on what I'm cutting. Next up on my to-do list is I got these S10 dash parts. These are all fairly valuable parts. Took them over here to one of my storage units, one of my old box van bodies that I store stuff in. And I'm going to go ahead and list these on eBay. I don't list a whole lot on eBay anymore, but I do a little bit every now and then. So I've got these sitting here and I'm standing here, so I guess I might as well go ahead and list them. I'll kind of show you guys how I do that. First thing you got to do is kind of look at it, see what condition it's in. I don't usually clean stuff up. I know you could get more money, but I just don't have time for all that. So I just look at it and I see that this has a little bit of rust on it. I don't know if it works or not. The plastic's all in good condition. On these old eyelets like this and this older stuff, you got to check them for cracks. They're all good. Everything on this looks to be pretty good. I would bet that this unit works fine. The only thing that might not work fine is the switch, but even it feels pretty good. So I bet this unit works perfect. It does have a little bit of rust, so I'll have to deduct for that, and I have to make sure I mention that in the description. And then you do the same thing on these other pieces. You look at them, check the mounting tabs. They all look good. It does have some scratches on it, but it's a 40-year-old part almost, so you can't expect it to be perfect. If they want it perfect, they'll take it in and they'll restore it and have it fixed all the way. So you look it over, everything looks to be good. The vents even work on it. None of those are broken or loose. So that's all in pretty good shape. And the instrument cluster I laid up there, it does have some dust on it. I will wipe it down a little bit. Once again, I spin the speedometer, make sure it spins. Other than that, I can't really test them out. So what I'll do is I'll lay them out like this, and I'll use my phone, take some pictures of them, and then I'll put them on eBay here in a little bit when I'm on lunch break. And you just want to kind of take some pictures from different angles. That way they can see exactly what they're getting. Pictures are way more important than descriptions. Usually. But if you don't put it in the description, they can file a claim against you, get their money back, and keep the item. So you have to make sure you put it in the description too, just to be safe. There we go. I'm done taking pictures of that one. I'll go put it on the shelf. Lay the next piece out, take pictures. Kind of a funny story real quick. One time I was taking pictures of some Dodge. It was actually temperature controls, just like this. And I had some other parts laid out in the background, back behind, kind of like this. And I took pictures of it like this. And the very first picture, you could kind of see stuff in the background, kind of like you can see that back there. And I had a couple other pieces laying back there. And in all the other pictures, all you could see was the temperature controls. And I put in the description, temperature controls. I think it was $15 is what the price was, and the shipping was, I think, $8. So, I mean, it was pretty obvious it was just for the temperature controls. They sold, I shipped them, and I get a nasty email a couple days later saying, where's all the rest of the parts that were in the background of your photo? I don't see them. They weren't in the listing. They were in the listing. They were in the pictures. And I'm like, did you really think that those were part of the listing? I said, you think I'm going to sell you all that stuff for $15? Or basically $25, including shipping? And they said, well, if it's in the picture, it's included. And so I said, so if I put it, normally I don't argue with people, but I guess maybe I wasn't in a good mood that day or something, but I argued back and I said, so if I take a picture of something on my table at home, do I have to ship you my table too? And they never messaged me back. I never heard back from them again. So, just kind of a funny story. I'm going to go ahead and save this tailgate too. It's got decent color, decent letters on it. It's not a big ticket item, but it'll sell easy down in Texas. And the best way to get these off, since they're bolted on, the new tailgates just slip off. These old tailgates don't do that. So the best thing I do is I do this with them, get them all ready to go, and then I'll take the loader and I'll fold the sides of the bed out and the tailgate will just drop right off. There we go. Got a rear end and a tailgate and a tractor seat. Well, sometimes you think you hit record and you didn't actually hit record. So you guys didn't get to see me rip this engine out, but I just ripped an engine out and I popped the catalytic converter off of it. You can see where it was attached. Those are extremely difficult to get out of the car while they're still in the car. So it's a whole lot easier just to rip the engine out of them. Like that, they pop right out, just aluminum motor mounts. Pop them out, pop the converter off. I got my helper, he's on break right now, but he's cleaning this area out over here. This was solid aluminum wheels and batteries and other odds and ends stuff, and so we're cleaning it back so I can have some room to operate in here again. And I probably won't get rid of that whole pile back there, but most of these over here on the edge. That way I can get that other truck bed of batteries out of here. Here's a few converters we pulled out today. It's been kind of a busy day for converters again. Just sold all of them the other day, and I'm already making another pile of them. I need to load them all up at some point today and go lock them up. And there goes the load. We dropped off the next one. He'll take it out on the street, and then he'll put the tarp over it. With that power line up there for the lights, he can't really put his tarp on right here. Got those loaded up in there. I gotta shove them in yet. I put that top card upside down so nothing will blow off of it. But before I can shove it in there, I've got to put a bracket under the front of this trailer so it doesn't collapse, because this just has those flimsy little deals holding those legs. And that's all I do there. I just stick that underneath the front of it, and then I'll go back here and I'll winch this a little bit, and it'll let the front of the trailer down on top of that, and then it'll be good and solid. Then I can shove those cars in the back without worrying about crumpling these things that are already half folded. These guys just hauled me a load of pipe, and everything still in the trailer is radioactive. Oil-filled pipe holds a lot of radiation from being out in the underground and what they use it for and that sort of stuff. I don't know exactly what causes it, but I know about a third, or probably about a fifth of their load was radioactive. Normally I would have just rejected the whole load, but I've known these guys for a long time, so I said I'd go through by hand and figure out which ones were hot and which ones weren't. But all those are hot. trailer full. There's a little bit of room left at the back, so I'm going to close the doors and I'm going to dump those 2 truck beds full of junk out in the back of this trailer here. And this is why I had to switch companies and have both companies here, because that dumpster over there has been sitting here for 2.5 days full and it's still sitting there. Whereas this here, I just now told them it's full. I guarantee you they'll be here first thing in the morning, or at least mid-morning at the latest, and pick it up and have an empty one sitting there. So it's $5 a ton less, but at this point it doesn't matter, I suppose. Alright, I think we're going to crush this snowplow. This came from the city yards here. They had it sit out there for sale forever, and nobody would even make an offer on it. So they finally called us one day and they said, come get this piece of junk. Whatever you give us for it, we'll take it. So we ran in there and got it. I thought it would be heavier than it actually is. It's not that heavy. I think it was a little over 3,000 pounds. Pretty good size. It's to the top of that peak there is almost 6 feet. I'm not sure how wide it is, how long it is, but it's seen better days. I don't know if it'll crush or not, so we're about to find out. It's super awkward. It's about as wide as it is long, and I don't know how I'm even going to fit it in the dumpster, but I'll figure that out later. For now, we're just going to see how flat it'll smash, if it'll even smash. So I started trying to crush it the other direction so it fit a little bit better, and it started to fold good, and then all of a sudden this blade on the front of it started popping apart and launching chunks of steel through the air. And I thought, man, that's just too dangerous for me, so I didn't let it continue. I stopped what I was doing. I managed to get it narrow enough now to where I can fit that on top of the car, and that'll be no problem. Now I got to take the bracket out from the front of this. Now this trailer is very heavy at the front because all the bundles of cars in there, and the tires are at the very back. So if I crank that by hand, it's going to be extremely difficult. And I have to crank it by hand no matter what, but what I do is I take my loader and I pick the back end of the loader up in the air underneath the front of the trailer like this. That way it's got a lot of pressure pushing up on the trailer to kind of counterbalance it, and that way I don't have to crank quite as hard when I'm cranking these legs back down. And with that, that's the end of this hot day. I'm going to head home, take a shower, sit in the air conditioner for a little bit, and then I have to unload about 2,000 pounds of stone out of the back of my truck. So I probably shouldn't even bother taking a shower, but I am absolutely filthy. I went to swing a pick earlier to knock a hole in the gas tank and drain it out, and the bumper was clear full of dirt, and it rained dirt down the back of my shirt, and it is absolutely nasty feeling. I don't mind getting dirty, but not that dirty. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I thought it was pretty interesting. I've been saving that snowplow blade for a while just to make a video of it. I didn't want to make a video when I had hardly any subscribers, so I wanted to wait till I had a bigger number, that way more people would see it. And so I feel like we're at that point now, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. And with that, I'm going to let you all go, but I want you to remember to get out there and find an adventure. We'll see you next time.